Hello, Leo. Welcome to your April 1st through the 15th reading. I want to say hello and welcome to the channel. I started with Aries yesterday and decided just to continue forward with the fire signs. So this will be for the first half of April, and a couple of just general things before starting. I did a meditation and a pre-shuffle for you guys, and we'll start with the cards that came out during that. But this is a general reading. That means that obviously this will not resonate with everyone. There are tons of Leos out there in the world, and while it's true that you were drawn to this video for a reason, it could be that, you know, this particular reading is not for you. This is for people Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising sign of Leo. Now, if this particular video does not resonate with you, be sure to take a look at your Moon and Venus and rising readings. Those might actually be more in line with you. Energy's a little bit weird, so depending on what's going on with your own chart, what's going on in your life, how you personally deal with energy and process energy, your sun sign reading may or may not be the best for you, depending on the time and when you are actually watching this. So it's interesting, the cards that came out in your pre-shuffle. I'll put information up about this deck just in case you find it interesting. These cards do have correlations to your typical tarot deck. I use them more now as almost oracle cards. I like to use these cards at the beginning and the end of a reading just so I can initially just start to get a feel for what is going on and where I think the reading is probably going to begin to go in terms of once we actually dive into the actual reading. So the first card that you guys got out, apologies if there's a little bit of a glare on that, but so this is the experiencing card. And if you look at the card closely, let's see if I can get it to focus on this, you can see that the person in the card is actually hugging this tree. And that's what this card really talks about. This card is specific to realizing that you aren't separate from this world. You are in this world, and you are also very much a part of this world and connected to everything within it. This is the idea that taking the time to really experience life and truly being in your life and realizing that the energy that you're putting out is a magnet in a way that's pulling energy towards you. So this card leading this off, it's interesting because you actually further down, you get the card that comes immediately before this. And when I see that typically with cards, it can sometimes mean that there's a bit of a setback, or that there's something that makes you fall back into old patterns or not have forward progression. But because of the card that's in the middle of this, I think that that's not what's going on here. You got the Innocence card. The Innocence card is really, this card for me is sort of the ego death card. This card talks to really stripping away everything that has been put upon you, or that you have internalized or made to be true. It's about stripping all of that away, allowing all that to fall, and to just be left with the sense of innocence, of not having those burdens or those insecurities or those fears anymore. And this card coming immediately after experiencing, I feel like this is, once you get into this mindset of realizing how connected you are to everyone, once you actually get that, once you understand that the person that brings you joy and happiness, you're just as connected to that person as you are connected to the person who, you know, really sets you off at work, or the person who yelled at you because you know, they felt that you cut them off, you know, during your morning commute. The connection that you have to those two people, it's the same. What makes those connections more or less relevant in our life is the amount that we allow them to impact us. So when you are in that mindset, naturally, I think for you, Leo, you will begin to realize that a lot of what you've taken on, a lot of what you hold to be true about yourself, a lot of what you spend a lot of time analyzing about yourself, that you have the power to let those things go. You have the power to amplify the things that you want to amplify. You can totally change who you are, how you are, and you don't really owe anyone an explanation for that. It's one of the things that is a little bit tricky, I think. We get into situations where we feel like how we've been, how we have lived up to the point that we're at, that is, you know, who we are. And the truth is, you can be whoever you want to be. So innocence is really speaking to this notion of letting everything fall away and picking up the things that you want to take, and realizing that you don't have to take any of the other stuff with you. Now, again, this card typically in this deck, this card comes immediately before the experiencing card. But I think that this is actually a really good place for you to end up once you have sort of had this falling away of the ego and this reevaluation of self. Possibilities really just speaks to the understanding that the only limits that we really have in our life are the ones that we believe matter. And that sounds really simplistic, but it's true at its core. If we don't perceive something to be a limitation or an obstacle, we just get through it. We go over it, we go around it. It doesn't halt us. What halts us is our own belief that this thing that we are being confronted with is something that we can't overcome. Possibilities just speaks to understanding that this world is not small. This universe is not small. It is infinite. It is much larger and much more complex than we can understand. And the mechanics and the way that the universe works and the spiritual principles behind it are also things that are, in a way, almost too grand and too big for us to fully understand and comprehend. Possibilities just speaks to keeping your awareness on that fact, that there are so many possibilities, there are so many opportunities, and the only way that those things are stripped away from us, or that we don't have access to them, is if we personally believe that we don't have access to them. The last card that came out for you guys is the guidance card. And this is an interesting card to come out. This speaks again to realizing that a lot of times we will seek guidance outwardly. So for example, watching this video, going to YouTube and looking for tarot readings, that is an outward exploration. Now, it could be that you felt internally that you should go and utilize YouTube and try to find answers to something. There's a difference, however, to feeling that being guided to do it and utilizing it as a justification or a reasoning to either not making a decision on our own or not confronting something directly on our own. This card states that the only real guidance that you can trust, regardless, after you've watched this video, after you've gone to that friend for advice, after you've gone to your therapist or to your spiritual advisor, ultimately you still have to make a choice. You can never free yourself of making choices. So you're either going to choose to listen to the person's advice or not listen to it. You're going to select something from each person and cobble together something that makes sense to you, but ultimately that's always going to be your decision. And the guidance card speaks to understanding that if you can listen, if you can turn inward, then that guidance, the guidance that's coming from within, that's the true guidance that's really trying to point you in the right direction. So if you think about these cards together as just a collection, it seems like this reading, and we'll see how the cards actually start to play out when we get into the reading, but it feels like right now is a big transition time for you, Leo. And you're really being called forth to go about how you exist in the world and how you think about yourself, and the way that you're thinking is either focused on abundance or lack, and really being called forth to take this journey and to turn inward as you are doing it, to make sure that the things that you decide to experience, the things that you decide to connect with energetically, the aspects of yourself that you choose to let go or to keep, that you're not doing that from a limiting space, that you're doing that with an abundant mindset full of possibility. And you're always using your internal guidance as the thing that helps you to make choices or gives you directions. So let's go ahead and get started pulling some cards. I do want to say here, I'm not going to do an extended version of this reading. I did an extended version for Aries, which I've posted on Patreon, and since they are in their birthday season currently, I'm going to do the extended for them for this reading. Extendeds will actually start with the readings for the second half of this month. So when those videos come out for you guys and are live on YouTube, I will also have the extendeds completed and also posted on Patreon. You can find information about my Patreon account in the description below. I'll give a link out to that. And that's really just so I can get these initial readings out to all of the signs and then get started on doing some different types of readings that I want to do for you guys, and also start going ahead with the readings for the end of the month. So I just wanted to let you guys know that there will be no extended on this. So I'm just seeing what wants to come out here. Seven of Wands reversed is the first card out. This is feeling totally overwhelmed, cornered, exhausted, just is not a good mindset. So with this being the lead card, it seems like perhaps the cards coming out at the beginning are an indication of how to get yourself out of this space. Wow, Nine of Swords upright coming out next, followed by the Hangman in reverse. So the Nine of Swords upright, this is just anxiety, really intense anxiety. It's an obsessive type of worry. This is sleepless nights or not being able to sleep. This represents really deep depression. Hangman reversed, this is that feeling of, upright. The Hangman is really about for me at least as a reader, I see it as being a personal choice to pause something or to suspend something. It is not being ready to make a choice, not being ready to make a decision, but it's you are choosing to delay, to give yourself space, basically. When this comes out reversed, it's more of it's a less empowered space. It's more like stalling or being scared to allow change to happen, or being scared to make a decision. So these three cards coming out as your opening energy, this is some really intense. This is a really heavy headspace. This is really feeling just really depressed and really not wanting to make choices or decisions. I just noticed actually there's a card under this. Let's see what that is. Wow. We have the Four of Swords and it's reversed. This, again, this is just... These, I mean, I'm a little bit taken aback with these cards because all of these cards just represent just really being in a bad space. Just heavy, I'm just getting exhaustion across the board here. It's to the point where I feel my own energy dipping right now. I just feel, it feels very heavy and I feel super tired. Let's see if we can just get, I'm just gonna see if some more cards will come out because I don't really feel the need to clarify any of this. We have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse that's come out. Let's see if something else wants to come out with it. King of Wands in reverse came out. Okay. So this energy, guys, I do feel like this ties into this upper row. The Eight of Pentacles reversed. This card really speaks to, it's almost like there's a feeling of putting in effort. There's a feeling of going towards a goal. There's a feeling of really doing what you're supposed to do. But the energy from this card, it almost feels like it's a misdirected sort of focus. Like you may feel very busy, you may feel overwhelmed, you may feel exhausted from what's going on. But the reason for that is because you're not putting your efforts towards what you should be putting your efforts towards. You are putting out a ton and you are exerting a lot of energy and you are making, I feel, a lot of personal sacrifices. With the King of Wands coming out reversed, this really speaks to sort of really high expectations, almost unrealistic, really aggressive expectations. It's the feeling of no matter what you do, it's not going to be good enough. And that's just, it's factual. This is the type of energy or the type of person potentially that they're never pleased. This could be, again, because this is a general reading, this could represent your energy. This could be going back to the cards from the opener of, you know, learning how to trust your inner guidance and to experience the world in a different way and to not see these limits that you're placing on yourself. When we have really high expectations or we're striving for trying to be perfect, we're setting ourselves up to fail. And by doing that, we're collapsing the realities in which we succeed, in which we have things that happen a little bit more easily for us. I'm going to try to clarify the King of Wands here. 3 shuffles. Maybe 3 shuffles, and then I'll take the card from the bottom of the deck and the card from the top of the deck for clarification here. Guys. Okay. So underneath the Hangman reverse, we have the King of Wands in reverse, which was clarified out of this deck with the Hangman in reverse. This just seems to me like a double confirmation that this is, you are you have yourself stuck. You are in your own way. You've dug in your heels and you're refusing to change how you're seeing things, to change how you're looking at things. And it's weighing on you so heavily. It's really taking a lot of the fun and the joy out of your life. But because you have such high expectations for yourself, because you push yourself so much, because you have set the bar so high for yourself in terms of what you think will make you successful, you're wearing yourself out and you're not ever really making it into where you think your success will be. Also coming out with the Hangman in reverse is the Ten of Cups in reverse. Now this really does feel, this feels like it is connected to a relationship. This feels like it's something, I almost feel just what I'm getting personally off of the cards is that this behavior, this sort of, this fixation that you have around sort of the pressure that you put on yourself around your life and your accomplishments. It feels like this, you also put this onto someone else. Like this is what it's like for people who try to enter into your life. This is what it's like for people who try to get close to you. The pressure that you put on yourself, I don't think that you're aware of it, but you put that same sort of pressure outward onto others. And I think that something recently has come to an end that something else wants to come out with those. One more time here. Wow. Okay. Okay, so clarifying energy for this Ten of Cups. We have Strength, upright, followed by the Judgment card, also upright. And that came out with Death, also upright. Now the Strength card, I mean, this card represents Leo. I feel like this is indicating, this is definitely representative of you. Judgment, this is I'm just connecting here. This doesn't feel present energy to me. This feels like it's a judgment of the past, a reflection about the way things were. Maybe even a potential awakening in a way to this ending. You know, this Ten of Cups with Death coming out, you know, Death could represent a Scorpio. This could have been a relationship with a Scorpio. But regardless of the sign, I feel like you were the one who made this decision to end this. And you're now looking at this situation, you're looking back at this situation, and you're asking yourself if you did have potentially expectations that were too high for this person. Did you set this person up to never be able to achieve what it would be to prove to you that they cared or to prove to you that you mattered? I think that you're looking at this relationship as well. For some of you, this is, I think, a separate group. I feel that some of you chose to end this relationship so that you could focus on career and personal things, or you had to let this relationship go because of how much your work and professional life was demanding of you, and it's left you feeling very depressed and isolated to have lost this person. So what I want to do now, just to wrap this up, I'm going to take the cards from earlier. So again, that was possibilities, experiencing innocence, and guidance. I'm going to put those back into this deck just randomly here. And then we'll give this a couple of shuffles. And I just want to get 2 cards out of this deck for you guys, which will be the ending advice. Now, I don't really, okay, I'm just going to say this, even though this is potentially maybe not what some of you want to hear, but I'm not right now feeling that there's a decision to be made here. I feel that you're very much looking back on things and you're running through in your mind about whether or not what you did was right. I feel like regardless of whether that was the right or the wrong thing for you to do for yourself in this moment, I feel like this ending, especially with death coming out, is a clarification on that. This is, at least for now, this is done. And so even if you did go back to this person, or if this person came back to you, because again, remember, because this is a general reading, this could be reversed. It could be that someone ended a relationship with you and you feel that regardless of what they come forward with, you're not interested. But again, I feel like this, because of strength being here, I feel like this is speaking to you. I feel like this was a choice that you made, a choice that you're questioning at this point. But I feel like this ending it's a solid ending. I feel like this person would not be receptive if you came back, at least not now. But let's see what guidance cards come out. Again, I just want to point out that the cards at the beginning for you were all very, very positive cards, and they spoke to needing to be in a space where you could turn inward and just focus on yourself, and of thinking about how your energy is aligned. And I think that that's still very true. There we go. Okay. And I don't read these cards in reverse. This is really interesting. So, first card that came out, this is Existence. This card in this deck, it aligns with the Magician in a typical deck. So this is really about that energy of creation and of mastery, and of what I feel here, especially because of how this card is done. This person they are very, very much alone. They're very much just with themselves. And I feel like that's what is being asked of you, is to really become a master of yourself. Really understand the magic that you possess, how you can impact the world, how you can shape your reality, how the pressure that you put upon yourself is the exact thing that's keeping you feeling too heavy. These cards, right? Like that pressure that you put on yourself is what's keeping you in this low energy, feeling weighted down, feeling depressed. It's time for you, Leo. Again, we have the Lion coming out. This is time for you to have a rebirth. Hi, Leos. I think the camera cut out just a moment ago, so I'm just starting this. There was a little bit left, and I'll just stitch this on to the end. I was saying here with the rebirth card, you can see the Lion in this. I feel like because this card it's equal to the Ten of Swords. I do feel like there's some weight, there's some heaviness to this ending, because I feel like this is actually you taking a look at the lifelong accumulation of beliefs and patterns and self-sabotage that you are now becoming aware of. And I feel like the awareness that has come to you is really this loss, whatever this loss was. And I feel like it was with another person. I feel like this was a relationship, and this loss, I feel like it was your choice, but you were left feeling very conflicted about that. And I feel like the questions that you've been asking related to this ending here, those questions are what will ultimately bring about this ending, this rebirth. This is really where all of that pain, all of the sadness and the heaviness, all of the loss and fear that you've carried with you, it's gotten to the point where it's cost you more than you're willing to allow. And because of that, because of being in that space, you're ready to go through that journey, this rebirth, this ending of this energy. That is what leads you into those cards from the beginning. So you might want to just go back and just listen to those cards again, because I feel like in terms of how that will play out, it's really you taking the time to turn inward, reflecting, which I feel like for most of you, you're already in that space. Letting this come to an end, releasing those things, and then that's when you get into that energy from the beginning. This journey of really being able to drop things away and sort of explore who you are and learn to really trust inwardly what you're feeling and what you're being guided around. So, Leo, I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, please take a moment to like the video, click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. When you hit subscribe, please also click the bell notification icon. That will let you know when I put up new videos, so you can always know exactly when those go up. You won't have to remember to come back to the channel. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments if anything rang true for you, if anything was something that you had confusion about, or if there's any suggestions that you might have for making the readings better. If you want me to show you more of the cards, if you want me to talk more or less about different aspects of things, I would love to get that feedback from you guys. I hope to build a community here with these videos, and so obviously I want to be responsive to the things that you need, or to the questions that you might have. So feel free to leave a comment, and if you liked the video and you have a fellow Leo that you think might enjoy the reading as well, feel free to share this with them. I would love for more people to watch the videos, and that's it. I'm seeing if anything else is coming off. This is sort of my way of just closing off the energy of this reading, and I'm just seeing if anything else is coming out. And the only thing that I'm really getting here is just, I feel like for the vast majority of you, and I'm really sensing this is most people who watch this video who have made it to this point because it's resonating with them. I feel what I'm getting is just like you are already on the path. You're already on the, you've made choices that have put you onto the path you need to be on right now, and it's just it's this thing of like, just keep going, keep trusting, keep going. You'll know. I feel like you will definitely know. You'll have an awareness of what your next move should be. It will feel very clear to you. You won't be able to question it, because I feel like this questioning that's happening here, this doubt around a decision that you made, that doubt in yourself is something that has actually, in a way, you don't like feeling that. You don't like feeling doubt in yourself. So because of that experience, you have connected to that inner guidance that's pulling you forward. So just keep trusting that and keep going in the direction that you know you're being led. All right, thanks so much, Leo, and I will see you guys again for the next video, which will be for the second half of April.